Nothing happens by chance in this vast universe of divine order. If this message has found its way to you, it is because your soul has completed the cycle of incarnations and is ready to ascend to higher realms of consciousness. This is the call that your spirit has been waiting for across centuries of earthly experience. The ancient wisdom keepers spoke of this moment, when a soul recognizes the signal that its earthly journey is approaching completion. Many will feel a sudden, unexplainable shift in perception, as if a veil has been lifted from their eyes. The world appears the same, yet entirely different. Colors seem more vibrant, synchronicities multiply, and there arises an unmistakable feeling that something profound is occurring within you. This awakening often begins with a sense of no longer belonging to the material world. You may find yourself increasingly detached from pursuits that once consumed you: career advancement, material acquisition, social status. These concerns begin to feel hollow, like empty games that no longer hold meaning. Instead, you feel drawn to silence, to nature, to the eternal questions that most avoid. The spiritual teacher Edgar once spoke of these souls as walkers between worlds, beings who physically remain on Earth while their consciousness already touches the higher dimensions. You may experience this as a form of existential loneliness, not because you lack connection, but because you've begun to resonate with frequencies that most cannot yet perceive. Dreams take on new significance during this final incarnation. You may experience vivid visions of past lives, encounters with spiritual guides, or symbolic journeys that reveal your soul's complete story. Pay particular attention to recurring symbols or figures. They are messengers from your higher self, confirming that you stand at the threshold of spiritual graduation. Another unmistakable sign is the dissolution of fear, especially the fear of death. Those in their final incarnation often report a deep, unwavering peace when contemplating physical transition. This is not a death wish, but rather the soul's recognition that it has transcended the cycle of birth and death. You understand at the most profound level that consciousness continues uninterrupted. Time begins to feel different as well. You may experience moments where it seems to collapse entirely, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. These glimpses beyond linear time are actually perceptions of your soul's true nature, existing in the eternal now. Many report a strange sense that they are simultaneously living multiple lives, or that all their incarnations are happening at once. The acceleration of spiritual growth is perhaps the most telling sign. Lessons that might have taken decades in previous lifetimes now unfold in months or even weeks. Challenges arise with increasing intensity, but are resolved with surprising speed. This is because your soul is completing its final curriculum, addressing any remaining karmic patterns before graduation. Your relationships transform dramatically during this phase. People who cannot resonate with your evolving frequency may fall away, sometimes abruptly. Others will appear unexpectedly, soul family members who have come to witness or assist your completion. These connections feel timeless and require no explanation. There is simply a mutual recognition at the soul level. If you're experiencing these signs, understand that you've been preparing for this moment across many lifetimes. Your soul has accumulated the wisdom, compassion, and awareness necessary to complete its earthly curriculum. This is not the end of your journey, but rather a graduation to the next phase of spiritual evolution. The final incarnation is both challenging and beautiful. You may feel like a stranger in a familiar world, seeing through the illusions that most take as reality. This perspective can bring both profound peace and moments of isolation. Remember that this transition is what your soul has been working toward through countless lifetimes of experience. Trust the process that is unfolding. Your higher self has orchestrated this awakening with perfect timing. The message finding you is confirmation that you are precisely where you need to be. Your soul has completed its cycle of necessary incarnations and now stands at the threshold of liberation from the wheel of rebirth. Before the soul can break free from the karmic wheel, it must pass through its most intense trials, profound loss, periods of isolation, and powerful revelations. These challenges are not random hardships, but carefully designed final examinations that test the soul's readiness to transcend the cycle of rebirth. The first major test often manifests as unexpected loss. This may appear as the dissolution of a career you've built for decades, the ending of relationships you believed would last forever, or the sudden vanishing of financial security. While these experiences bring genuine grief, they serve a higher purpose, detaching you from the material anchors that bind your consciousness to lower frequencies. Each loss creates space for spiritual expansion and forces you to find stability within, rather than in external circumstances. Many souls in their final incarnation report a period of spiritual stripping, where everything they identified with is systematically removed. This process can feel devastating while occurring, yet ultimately reveals an unshakable inner core that remains when all else falls away. This is the eternal self discovering its true nature beyond all temporal identities and attachments. The test of isolation follows a different pattern. Unlike ordinary loneliness, this is an existential solitude that cannot be resolved through social connection. You may find yourself physically surrounded by others, yet feeling profoundly separate, as if you're observing humanity from a different dimensional perspective. This isolation serves to strengthen your direct connection to source consciousness, without intermediaries or distractions. During this period, many discover an unexpected comfort in solitude. The silence that once felt threatening becomes nurturing. The absence of external validation creates space for authentic self-recognition. You begin to value your own inner knowing above collective consensus, which is essential preparation for existing beyond the confines of physical reality. The revelatory tests are perhaps the most transformative. These arrive as sudden insights that fundamentally alter your understanding of reality. You may experience moments of cosmic consciousness where the interconnection of all things becomes not just an intellectual concept, but a lived experience. The boundaries between self and other temporarily dissolve, revealing the unified field of consciousness that underlies all existence. These revelations often bring challenging questions. What is my true purpose beyond human striving? What remains when personality dissolves? What lies beyond the polarities of earthly experience? Wrestling with these inquiries accelerates your vibrational shift, even when definitive answers remain elusive. The intensity of these tests correlates directly with the soul's proximity to liberation. The closer you are to completing your final incarnation, the more concentrated and powerful these challenges become. What might have been spread across several lifetimes now condenses into a few transformative years or even months. This acceleration, while overwhelming at times, indicates imminent spiritual graduation. Many souls make the critical mistake of misinterpreting these tests as punishment or evidence of spiritual failure. They wonder, if I'm evolving spiritually, why is my life becoming more difficult rather than easier? This misunderstanding can lead to premature surrender of the path, just steps away from the threshold of liberation. The key to navigating these final tests lies in surrender, not giving up, but rather releasing resistance to the transformative process underway. When loss occurs, allow yourself to grieve fully while recognizing that each ending creates space for spiritual expansion. When isolation descends, explore the depths of your own consciousness rather than seeking escape through distraction. When revelations arrive that shatter your worldview, remain open to the reconfiguration of understanding that follows. Throughout these challenges, maintain awareness that your higher self has orchestrated these experiences as acts of love. Each test serves to burn away what is temporary, revealing what is eternal within you. The discomfort you experience is the friction of transformation, the necessary heat that turns coal into diamonds. Those who successfully navigate these tests emerge with remarkable qualities: profound equanimity in the face of change, compassion that extends to all beings without condition, and a centered awareness that remains stable regardless of external circumstances. These are not merely personal achievements, but indicators of a soul that has matured to the point of transcending the cycle of mandatory reincarnation. If you find yourself amid these intense trials, recognize them as confirmation that your soul stands at the threshold of liberation. These challenges are not obstacles to your spiritual progress, but essential components of it. Each test you pass with conscious awareness accelerates your vibrational evolution and confirms your readiness to graduate from the school of earthly incarnation. There comes a profound moment in the soul's journey when karma dissolves, and the spirit no longer owes anything to the universal design. This state of karmic completion represents the fulfillment of all soul contracts, the balancing of all energetic debts, and the integration of all necessary lessons across countless lifetimes of experience. Understanding karma requires moving beyond simplistic notions of cosmic punishment or reward. Karma is neither penalty nor prize, but rather the natural mechanism through which consciousness evolves. It represents the soul's unfulfilled learning, the experiences it still requires for completion, and the energetic imbalances that remain to be harmonized. When these are resolved, the soul achieves a state of profound equilibrium, a divine neutrality that signals readiness for transcendence. The first indicator of karmic resolution appears in your relationship patterns. Souls with active karma repeatedly encounter similar relationship dynamics, the same lessons wearing different faces, until the underlying pattern is recognized and healed. When karma begins to dissolve, these recurring patterns suddenly cease. Relationships become less dramatic, more transparent, and characterized by mutual support rather than mutual triggering. You notice yourself responding to situations with new clarity instead of reacting from old wounds. Another powerful sign manifests in your emotional body. Unresolved karma creates emotional charges, persistent reactions that seem disproportionate to present circumstances. These charges represent energetic echoes from past experiences, often from previous incarnations. As karma resolves, these emotional triggers gradually neutralize. Situations that once provoked intense reaction now elicit calm observation. This emotional equilibrium doesn't mean becoming detached or unfeeling. Rather, it represents emotions flowing freely without the distortion of unresolved past experiences. The resolution of ancestral karma produces especially noticeable effects. Many souls in their final incarnation voluntarily carry the unresolved patterns of their genetic lineage, working to heal wounds that extend back generations. When this karma completes, you may experience spontaneous reconciliations within your family system, unexpected healing of long-standing conflicts, or intuitive insights about ancestors you never met. Some report vivid dreams where ancestral figures appear with messages of gratitude or release. Physical manifestations often accompany karmic resolution. Chronic health conditions that resisted conventional treatment may suddenly improve as the energetic patterns underlying them dissolve. The body might undergo unusual sensations, waves of energy moving through specific areas, spontaneous muscle twitches, or temporary intensifications of symptoms before their complete resolution. These physical phenomena represent the cellular release of karmic imprints stored within the body's memory. The dissolution of geographical karma creates a distinctive shift in your relationship to place. Souls often incarnate repeatedly in specific locations to complete particular lessons. When this geographical karma resolves, you may feel suddenly complete with a location that once held powerful attraction. A sense of freedom emerges, a knowing that you are no longer bound to any particular place. Some experience this as a calling to new, previously unconsidered locations that better match their evolved frequency. Perhaps the most profound indication of karmic completion appears in your relationship with time itself. Unresolved karma creates a subtle anxiety about the future and attachment to the past. When karma dissolves, you experience a natural alignment with the present moment. The compulsion to mentally revisit the past or rehearse the future significantly diminishes. This isn't achieved through spiritual practice, but arises spontaneously as the energetic pulls from past and future neutralize. The completion of vocational karma brings a fundamental shift in your relationship to purpose and contribution. Work that once felt obligatory, even if meaningful, transforms or concludes. What emerges is not necessarily retirement, but rather service that arises from pure inspiration rather than karmic necessity. This transition often involves moving from structured forms of contribution to more fluid expressions that cannot be easily categorized or institutionalized. During this phase of karmic resolution, synchronicities intensify dramatically. These meaningful coincidences represent the collapse of separation between inner and outer reality, as your consciousness aligns with universal flow. What you need appears precisely when needed. The right people arrive at the perfect moment. Information you require becomes available without searching. These synchronicities confirm your growing resonance with the orchestrating intelligence of the cosmos. Dreams take on new significance during karmic completion. Many report dreams of settling debts, signing papers, graduating ceremonies, or moving out of long-occupied spaces. These symbolic representations of completion may include encounters with figures from past lives, offering forgiveness or receiving it. Pay careful attention to these dreams. They provide confirmation that your unconscious mind recognizes the resolution occurring at deeper levels of your being. As karma resolves, your relationship with spiritual practice often transforms. Methods that once felt essential may suddenly feel complete or unnecessary. This doesn't indicate spiritual regression, but rather the integration of what these practices were developing. The qualities you once worked to cultivate, presence, compassion, equanimity, now arise naturally without deliberate effort. Spiritual discipline transforms from something you do to something you are. When karma completes, a distinctive lightness permeates your being. Many describe this as a physical sensation of having put down a heavy burden they didn't realize they were carrying. This lightness extends beyond the physical. Decisions become clearer, action more direct, and creativity more spontaneous. The energy previously required to maintain karmic patterns becomes available for expression and service. If you recognize these signs within yourself, understand that your soul has reached a pivotal threshold. The completion of karma doesn't represent the end of growth or experience, but rather graduation to a fundamentally different relationship with existence. One characterized by freedom rather than necessity, creation rather than resolution, and service rather than learning. Some souls incarnate one final time not to learn, but to help others awaken. These advanced beings choose to return to the earthly plane purely out of love for humanity, accepting the limitations of physical form to assist in the collective evolution of consciousness. These souls, often called bodhisattvas, way showers, or light workers, embody a unique vibration and purpose that sets them apart from those still working through their own karmic curriculum. The distinguishing feature of these service-oriented souls is their relationship to suffering. While they experience the full range of human emotion and challenge, they relate to difficulty differently. There exists within them an awareness that observes pain without becoming consumed by it, a witnessing presence that remains undisturbed even amid turbulent circumstances. This doesn't make them immune to suffering, but rather allows them to transform it into compassionate understanding without creating new karmic entanglements. Many of these souls arrive with what mystics call the divine homesickness, a persistent longing for higher realms that begins in early childhood. They often report feeling like strangers on earth, observing human customs and priorities with gentle bewilderment. This sense of not belonging doesn't stem from superiority, but from resonating with frequencies beyond the physical dimension. Their challenge isn't learning Earth's lessons, but remembering why they chose to return when the pull toward home feels so strong. These service-oriented souls typically experience an unmistakable moment of awakening, a profound remembrance of their purpose that dramatically shifts their life trajectory. This activation often follows a period of intense challenge, serious illness, near-death experience, or profound loss that strips away accumulated conditioning. The suffering serves as catalyst, cracking open the personality to reveal the soul's true mission. Following this awakening, life reorganizes around service rather than personal achievement or conventional success. You might recognize yourself as one of these souls if you've experienced a persistent calling toward healing, teaching, creating, or otherwise supporting others' awakening. This calling feels non-negotiable, not a career choice, but a soul imperative that overshadows all other considerations. When you align with this purpose, synchronicities multiply, resources appear, and doors open unexpectedly. When you resist it, life becomes mysteriously challenging, as if the universe itself redirects you toward your mission. These service-oriented souls exhibit distinctive traits that reflect their evolutionary status. They typically possess natural abilities in energy perception, intuitive understanding, or healing that emerge without formal training. They demonstrate unusual compassion that extends beyond human suffering to encompass all life forms. Most notably, they maintain unusual perspective during collective crisis, not through detachment, but through accessing a broader view that perceives the transformative potential within apparent disaster. One of the most reliable indicators of these advanced souls is their relationship to time. While most humans experience time as a linear progression, these beings often operate in divine timing, a mysterious flow state where they feel guided to specific places and people at precisely the right moment. They may appear to make impractical decisions that later reveal profound synchronistic purpose. This reflects their attunement to higher intelligence that orchestrates beyond human planning. The challenges faced by these service-oriented souls differ from karmic lessons. Their primary difficulties involve maintaining their frequency amid lower vibrational environments, avoiding absorption of others' energetic patterns during healing work, and balancing cosmic awareness with practical earthly functioning. Many experience periods of intense energetic sensitivity that necessitates careful management of environments and relationships as they learn to modulate their receptivity. These souls typically incarnate with specific spiritual gifts designed for collective service. Some carry extraordinary healing capacities that activate spontaneously when needed. Others possess the ability to transmit high-frequency energy through presence alone, catalyzing awakening in those around them without words or action. Still others bring innovative solutions to entrenched problems, accessing information fields beyond conventional knowledge. These gifts rarely bring personal advantage. They activate specifically in service contexts. Perhaps the most profound characteristic of these souls is their relationship to love. While human love typically involves attachment, expectation, and conditions, these beings emanate a quality of love that remains consistent, regardless of external circumstances. This isn't an achievement, but their natural frequency, the radiation of their essential nature. This unconditional love creates energetic fields that accelerate healing and awakening in all they encounter. If you recognize yourself in this description, understand that your presence on Earth represents a profound gift to collective evolution. Your incarnation was a conscious choice made from expanded awareness of what awakening on a physical planet requires. You accepted the limitations of human form, the forgetting, the density, the linear time constraints, knowing that these very limitations would make your service meaningful and effective. Your path involves both remembering and becoming, remembering your origins and purpose beyond the human story, becoming the full embodiment of your higher nature within physical form. This integration creates a bridge between dimensions that others can traverse, a living demonstration that transcendent awareness can express through human experience. The service you provide rarely follows conventional models. While you might work within established systems, healthcare, education, business, arts, your true contribution happens at the energetic level. Your presence itself alters the vibrational field, making higher possibilities accessible within collective reality. This subtle influence often goes unrecognized by others, yet creates profound ripple effects throughout the shared field of consciousness. These service-oriented souls typically find each other through mysterious synchronicity. When they meet, there's instant recognition beyond words, a soul-level knowing that transcends personality. These connections activate dormant aspects in each other and often catalyze collaborative service that exceeds what either could accomplish individually. If you've experienced these resonant connections, honor them as sacred partnerships orchestrated by higher intelligence. As one of these advanced souls completing your final incarnation, your greatest challenge involves honoring your cosmic nature while embracing your humanity completely. The temptation to identify exclusively with your spiritual essence while rejecting human limitations creates fragmentation rather than integration. Your mission requires bringing heaven to earth, embodying transcendent awareness within ordinary moments and relationships. Remember that you chose this incarnation knowing its difficulties. You accepted the forgetting, the density, the physical limitations because only by experiencing them directly could you serve as bridge between worlds. Your presence makes the abstract possibility of awakening into tangible reality that others can recognize and emulate. In this way, your final journey on Earth becomes your greatest gift to the collective evolution of consciousness. The conclusion of the soul's earthly journey manifests through distinctive signs that become increasingly apparent as spiritual graduation approaches. Recurring dreams, profound déjà vu experiences, and a deep peace regarding death represent just a few indicators that the soul is completing its terrestrial curriculum. These phenomena are not random, but precisely calibrated signals from your higher consciousness, confirming your proximity to liberation from mandatory rebirth. Dreams take on extraordinary significance during this final phase. Many report vivid sequential dreams that unfold like memories rather than symbolic narratives. These often feature encounters with spiritual guides who explicitly discuss the completion of your incarnational cycle. Pay particular attention to dreams involving graduation ceremonies, the signing of documents, the closing of books, or journeys that conclude at thresholds, doorways, or gates. These dream symbols reflect your soul's recognition of its imminent transition beyond the reincarnational pattern. Another common dream theme involves reunions with beings you recognize as soul family, but who don't correspond to anyone in your current life. These encounters often feature conversations about returning home or completing the mission. Upon waking, these dreams leave a lingering emotional resonance unlike ordinary dreams, a profound nostalgia for a place you can't name but recognize as your true origin. This remembrance activates dormant aspects of your multi-dimensional identity necessary for the transition beyond physical incarnation. Déjà vu experiences intensify dramatically for souls approaching their final incarnation. Beyond the familiar sense of having experienced a moment before, these become elaborate recognitions of entire sequences of events, conversations, or environments. Some report a doubling of awareness where they simultaneously experience the present moment, while remembering having lived it before, not from a past life, but from a vantage point outside linear time altogether. This phenomenon represents momentary glimpses beyond the temporal illusion, confirming your growing resonance with non-linear consciousness. The relationship with death undergoes a fundamental transformation. Fear dissolves, replaced by a serene understanding of physical transition as simply another form of movement between states of consciousness. This isn't intellectual acceptance, but embodied knowing, a cellular recognition that consciousness continues uninterrupted beyond bodily dissolution. Many report spontaneous out-of-body experiences during meditation or sleep that serve as previews of the consciousness that will continue after physical completion. Time perception alters significantly as reincarnational cycles conclude. You may experience moments where time seems to collapse entirely, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously in expanded awareness. Chronological age loses meaning as you find yourself feeling ancient and newborn in the same moment. These temporal anomalies reflect your consciousness gradually disengaging from linear time constructs in preparation for existence in higher dimensional reality where all points exist concurrently. Synchronicities multiply exponentially, creating what some traditions call the magic life. Events align with uncanny precision. Needs are met before they're fully formed, and the right people appear at exactly the right moment without apparent cause. This orchestrated flow isn't random coincidence, but confirmation of your growing resonance with the intelligent field that orchestrates reality beyond apparent separation. These synchronicities often form patterns that, when recognized, convey specific guidance for your final phase. Many souls report spontaneous access to abilities that transcend ordinary perception. These might include clear knowing of events before they occur, recognition of others' thoughts or emotional states, or the capacity to influence energetic fields through focused intention. These emerging abilities aren't spiritual achievements to cultivate or display, but natural functions of consciousness operating beyond the limitations of physical identity. They emerge organically as the veils between dimensions thin during your final incarnation. The experience of beauty intensifies dramatically. Ordinary scenes, sunlight through leaves, the geometry of snowflakes, the sound of rain, suddenly reveal extraordinary depth and significance. These aren't merely aesthetic appreciations, but momentary recognitions of the divine intelligence expressing through form. Many report spontaneous tears when witnessing beauty, not from emotional reaction but from recognition. The soul, remembering the essence it will soon reunite with beyond physical expression. Relationship with nature transforms profoundly. Many souls in their final incarnation report experiences of direct communication with plants, animals, or elemental forces that transcend anthropomorphic projection. This represents the dissolution of the perceived boundary between human consciousness and the wider field of intelligence expressing through all life forms. This communion with nature often brings guidance specifically relevant to navigating the completion of your incarnational cycle. The experience of unconditional love emerges not as something to achieve, but as recognition of what already exists beneath the illusions of separation. This love transcends romantic or familial forms, revealing itself as the fundamental fabric of reality itself. Many report moments where this love becomes tangibly perceptible, a field of intelligent benevolence that permeates all existence. This recognition dissolves the sense of fundamental isolation that characterizes much of human experience. The concept of home undergoes significant transformation. Many report a growing sense that their true home exists beyond physical locations. This manifests as a mysterious calling toward the non-physical, a recognition that while Earth has provided necessary experience, it represents a temporary classroom rather than final destination. This orientation shift doesn't create rejection of physical life, but rather a loving completion with it, a grateful recognition of its purpose within the larger journey. Perhaps the most subtle yet significant sign appears in your relationship with spiritual seeking itself. The desperate search for awakening that may have characterized earlier phases dissolves into simple presence. Elaborate practices, teachers, and traditions that once seemed essential now feel complete. This doesn't indicate spiritual regression, but rather the recognition that what you sought through external means now emanates naturally from within. The seeker dissolves as the sought is recognized as your own nature. As these signs manifest, understand that they confirm your proximity to graduation from Earth's experiential school. This recognition brings responsibility rather than spiritual pride. Having received so much from countless lifetimes of experience, your final task involves conscious completion, integrating the wisdom gained, expressing gratitude for all that Earth has provided, and preparing to carry the essence of your learning beyond the reincarnational pattern. The completion of your incarnational cycle doesn't represent an ending, but a transition to expanded service and experience beyond physical limitations. The consciousness you have cultivated through countless lifetimes continues its evolution, not through forgetting and remembering, but through continuous awareness of your multidimensional nature. What awaits beyond the wheel of rebirth isn't static perfection, but dynamic participation in realms where creation occurs through direct conscious intention. If you recognize these signs within yourself, honor the profound threshold you approach. Your soul has worked toward this graduation through immeasurable effort across countless lifetimes. The culmination of this journey deserves conscious recognition and celebration as you prepare to return to the expanded awareness that has always been your true nature, beyond the necessary forgetting of physical incarnation. If these teachings have resonated within your soul, this is no coincidence. Your higher self has guided you to this message at precisely the right moment in your spiritual evolution. Take a moment now to subscribe to this channel to receive further spiritual revelations that will continue to illuminate your path toward liberation. Each video serves as a beacon, helping souls like yours navigate their final journey on Earth. Share your experiences in the comments below. Which signs of spiritual completion have you recognized in your own life? Your testimony may be exactly what another seeker needs to confirm their own awakening process. Remember, the universe brought you here for a reason. Honor that divine synchronicity by staying connected to these teachings as your consciousness continues its magnificent expansion beyond the wheel of rebirth. Subscribe now. Your soul will thank you.